Welcome, fellow seekers of challenge and triumph, to the SufferSooner podcast. Join us on a journey where ordinary souls embark on extraordinary endeavors. From the relentless grind of gravel to the punishing gauntlet that is triathlon, we've tasted our fair share of suffering. So fellow endurance warriors, let's lace up our shoes, strap on our goggles, and dive headfirst into the challenge, knowing that with every step, stroke, and pedal forward, we grow stronger together. All right, guys, welcome to episode number 78, goal setting. We've had we've had an episode in the past about setting goals, smart goals and stuff, but I figure it's this time of year. It's time to kind of rehash it, kind of go over it. We'll make it pretty quick and stuff. So, but before we get to that, one of my first goals was to get a hater. Yeah. And we finally got one. We made it. We made it now. We have our first hater.
Well, I mean, it's bound to happen, right? You
Yeah.
can't make everybody happy.
That's how I know I'm doing something right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's good. They know who they are.
Well, and it's funny is I didn't even see. So it was a comment on one of our prior videos. We were not, if you want to find it, you can go out there and look for it. It's
not hard.
We didn't delete it. We're pretty transparent.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny. We saw the comment, something about cringe and sad, and I'm like, what's really sad is that some people just don't even try.
Yeah.
And that particular person is one of them, right?
Yep.
There's they got all the things to say, but they don't try.
Yeah.
You don't see any content from them.
Right.
Anyway, it's all good though. It's funny. I usually don't let stuff like that bother me, and that one was no different. Didn't bother me a bit. I think it's great. I love it when people give feedback, good or bad.
Yep.
And the only thing I ask is hey, you got something to say? At least make it constructive. Hey, what's your idea to make things better? Because I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. But anyway, so that's good. We did make it.
Yeah.
We made it. So I guess the next thing is across the next milestone of subscribers, and we'll just keep on plugging ahead. So
keep going.
So it's good stuff.
So if you were living under a rock this weekend and weren't paying attention to any social media, you probably didn't hear that we have a coupon code for Open Range.
I feel like we can't give it away.
Yeah, we can't. So
I mean, we're not making it hard to get.
Nope.
But I didn't see a lot of people reach out. Do they not believe it?
I guess maybe they
didn't listen through all the last episode. Yeah. But
so this time I'm gonna try it up different. We're gonna start with telling you how to get the coupon code.
All right,
so all you have to do is comment on this video.
Yeah.
And I will comment back, and then you're gonna reply to that comment. And guess what? I will send you a coupon code.
It's pretty easy.
Super easy.
It takes about 30 seconds of your time.
I check it twice a day. I check it in the morning and the evening. So if you comment in the morning and I missed it, I will comment in the evening, and you can. I
might jump on there and help you out. But
Danny will help out when I can't, because I'm running kids around and stuff. So I do try to check it as much as I can. Again, if you're commenting on the YouTube video or Spotify, I will see it. Yeah. There's no way to comment on Apple Podcasts, I don't think, or there might be. If there is,
it's got to be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's got to be on YouTube or Spotify. Apple Podcasts, I really can't see any of the comments or any of that stuff. So it's very convoluted how they have that podcasting stuff set up. So your best bet is to go to YouTube, and I'll see it there first. If you're listening to this on Spotify, just comment there. Super easy. Just comment something, anything. I'll reply back. And then, again, if you're doing Apple Podcasts, just jump over to YouTube real quick and just comment. Yeah, super easy.
Long.
5 seconds. It's going to take you longer waiting for my reply. Trust me. So that's kind of it. And again, if you're registering for Open Range and you haven't done it yet, this is your chance to save a little bit of coin on the setting or on the registration. Yeah. And again, this is only good until December 31st. So after that, Eric said no more.
Yeah. You got to cut it off somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was out there. I went ahead and registered. I did not partake in the competition this year for the early entry.
He wanted to make it easy for everybody else.
I won it last year.
Yeah.
I don't brag about it, but I was the keyboard warrior. I won it last year.
Yeah. He was there. Refresh.
I was looking for those submit. So, but anyway, I think it's pretty wild. Like there are a lot of people already registered.
Well, I saw a lady from Pennsylvania is going to be there.
So there's a lot of people already registered. Guess they missed out on the coupon code. But what's really exciting about this is I'm not sure if this. I don't know what the record for number of registrations in the first weekend. This has got to be right up there. I mean, there's a lot of people, so this is so awesome to see. But you've got so many states already represented. I mean, it is very clear this event is picking up a lot of speed.
Yeah.
A lot of momentum. And hey, you know what? If you haven't registered yet, you want to save a few bucks, we got a way for you to do it.
Yep.
So, all right.
For sure.
Good deal.
All right. Let's get into it. All right. So you've picked out your races. You know, if you listen to last week's episode, we kind of went through our whole race season. And we picked out like our A races and our B races and some of the C races and kind of our season. And so now what do you do? Like now you're like, well, I'm just going to show up and do that.
I sat in my training pain cave and just wrung my hands all weekend going, now what am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly. You sign up and then you're like,
now it's real.
Yeah. So a lot of times, like for most of the athletes I coach, just finishing is kind of the goal. But when you get past that, when you're, this is going to be like our fourth Unbound. We're going to use our Unbound as our A race.
Yeah.
This is going to be our fifth open range. We've done multiple gravel events. So we do have goals set for each event, but a lot of times we're just going to work on the A and the B kind of races. The C races are kind of like you're working on more of like, nutrition side or just trying to iron out some kinks that you're going to work on one specific area to work towards. So goal setting now. So like, for Unbound, when we've done it, 4 times now?
This will be,
if you count the 100, it'll be 5.
If you count the 100, it'll be 5.
Yeah. So just finishing is not the goal anymore because we've just finished. Mine will be not to get heat stroke this year for sure, or heat stress, whatever you want to call it now.
I think there's always the component of just finished, just because of the terrain, especially on the South Course.
Yeah.
With
Unbound and that the notorious thing, it's first goal finish, and then you have always that second goal is that's when you like.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. I mean, I would just say we never take the finish for granted, just because of the conditions of that course and how it can just swing in a moment's notice. You could get, biblical flooding and rain and mud and everything else, or you could get 158 degrees out there and it feels like the sun's a foot from your head the whole day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I think if I, looking at sort of the last couple of years, and the goal has kind of shifted for me. Like I think about it as a few years back when we did the first one. It was just finished, but gosh, wouldn't it be cool to beat the sun? Like that was kind of the vibe going into it. Obviously, didn't take very long once it started. With the Mudfest, it was not beat the sun was out of the picture for me. I mean, a lot of people did beat the sun, which good for them. But the next year it was beat the sun. That was the goal, right? And then missed it by a few seconds, literally. And so then made last year's goal very easy, beat the sun. Got the redemption. Well, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So once you've done that, like, okay, well, what's the purpose now? And that kind of goes back to why I think it took so long to sign up. Like, what's the purpose? And I think we've kind of landed on it. So what do you got for your goal for this year?
So my goal this year is to go 12 hours
sub 12
or less.
Yeah.
I think it's scary enough that I will, and that's the other part about making goals is they kind of have to be kind of scary.
Yeah.
They have to be, if it's just like, if it was for me just finish, then I would be like, well, okay, well, I can just kind of go out there and just finish.
Yeah.
And not to say like that is, the first and foremost goal.
Of course.
The other part is like, okay, beat the sun. Okay. So then that's 14 hours. Right. Yeah. And so I've beaten the sun. I would have beaten the sun last year if I didn't get heat stress.
You were on pace for it.
Yep. So I was on pace for it. I had time in the bank.
Yeah.
And probably we would have gotten a little bit better if I was able to
we both would have finished much earlier. I mean, I beat the sun by like 45, 47 minutes, something like that. And rode a lot of the back half of that by myself.
Yeah.
If you and I had already kind of agreed that we would work together and we would only really race the last quarter of the race, and And there's no doubt we would have probably picked up at least another 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, because that back half of that north course is, again, my preferred terrain.
Yep.
And so, we
Yeah, so I don't think, I think you definitely beat it the 1 year I didn't, then the last year happened, and then, so sub 12 this year, huh?
Yeah. So, again, that's barring, torrential downpour, super crazy heat, mechanicals, all that stuff. But again, you want to pick a goal that's kind of scary, right? Like it's something that you're going to be like, whew, if I pull it off. And then again, I'm putting it out there too. So like now the whole world knows the goal. So then
even
they're going to look up, even the haters, that hater is going to know my goal. And he's going to be able to look up Sunday morning and see if I beat it or not. Or watch me go all Saturday, the 31st or whatever the day, 30th. He'll watch me all Saturday.
Sunday morning while you're picking up your gear and the Trail of Tears, he's going to be posting on the YouTube video.
Exactly.
The latest one. Like I told you, you weren't going to make it.
Right. So again, that's, it's kind of a, it's a goal that is one scary for me because it requires me to hold a higher average power, requires me to probably be 4 watts per kilo. It requires quite a lot from me, but it's one of those things that's not crazy out of the realm. Like it's not like I'm saying like, oh, I want to beat the pros. Right. Like that would just be like, come on, bro. No, that's not going to happen.
I think the other thing is like years past we would have framed a goal up, and I struggle with this too because like I too am thinking like, oh, sub 12 would be probably where I want to be. I beat the sun, the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, sub 12 is definitely the goal. There's a part of me I want to set that goal of like top 10% of the age group, something like that. I would have to look at the time cutoffs from last year to kind of see how far away is that. To me, sub 12. If I think of the goal as a time goal, I know what I have to do to make that happen. To your point, like you definitely have to get a higher average power. So where I'm going with this, like if I've got that time goal, I'm going to do the other things I need to do to hit that time goal. And by nature, that will put me likely in the top 10% of the age group.
Right.
Because you can't hit that time goal unless you have the ability to hold that higher power. And, the other goal is to drop some weight. So that brings the power to weight ratio up. And I think that's, so that kind of turns into the combination of goals. It's like the goal is sub 12, but how do I get to that goal?
Right.
Now, and that's how you start breaking these things down. And so what am I doing right now to set myself up for, that to achieve that goal? And we'll get into some of that, about the training itself. But yeah, so sub 12 is it. And that's also nice because to hit sub 12 at Unbound, it's only going to improve your performance in all your other races as well, right?
So it carries through to the other races. And so, the other races leading into it, if you're doing Unbound and, you're going to do some other races in the area, you can work on, okay, so for me to go sub 12, I have to hold this average speed. Mm-hmm. So then let's say at a race like, like Flint Hills, you're like, okay, my goal for this race is it's a C race. It's support or it's there. And if the weather's, decent or whatever, then I can work on this average speed goal.
Right.
If the weather's not, then I can change the goal and just be like, okay, I'm going to work on, another certain aspect of, just fueling properly or hydrating or something like that. Cause again, at these early season races, you're kind of subject to the elements. And so you may not be able to work on, a certain goal just because it's not feasible and it's not good for you to kind of go in there and be like, well, I didn't hold an average power or I didn't do this but again, it's weather dependent. You know?
Yeah. Well, and I think, that's where you just have to be flexible with those B and C races, be ready to adapt. So if the weather looks like it's going to be miserable, you might say, hey, time goal for one of those events is probably not likely, but I can still hold power.
Yep.
Right. And, what I've done this year is I've looked at so I've got my training plan built out. What is the prescribed plan? Because the plan doesn't know I'm doing these other races, right?
Yeah.
So what is the prescribed plan and what is the focus of that plan that's really geared more towards Unbound? So if that plan was, oh, okay, and then you need to focus on, holding 20-minute sweet spot efforts, do 3 of them over a 3-hour window, and it's a 6-hour race. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to find at least 3 opportunities in that race to hold a 20-minute sweet spot effort.
Yeah.
And that way I can still get my work in. And then the rest of the race, I can just ride zone 2.
Yep.
Like, I don't care because that was the goal.
Yep.
Is like, again, back to, I'm going to use that race to set myself up for the next race. And so I think that's how I'm going to approach a lot of these this year. So it's going to be kind of tough because, there's going to be the desire to want to compete.
Yep.
And it's going to be really hard to let a group go. And I'm not sure it's going to happen. So
Hashtag bait Danny.
Right? I mean, it's just,
it's one of the, and
I'm paying for the event. I want to race the event,
And that you can kind of work into your plan too, like knowing, we've done these races, especially if you're a more experienced racer, you can work in more types of things like holding onto the front group a little bit longer, or you're going to, work on, pack dynamics and that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff you can go into these things.
Yeah.
A lot of times too, like I always like to do with my athletes, like SMART goals versus stretch goals, right?
Yeah.
And so like, how do you prefer to, like, do you do SMART goals or do you do stretch goals?
Well, it really depends. Like something like the Unbound goal is probably more of a stretch because I know what it's going to take, or what it will take to attain that goal, and that is a lot. A lot of things have to line up, so there's no guarantee it's going to happen. That's the one that kind of scares me. But as I said before, like if I break that bigger goal up into smaller, more attainable goals, those become SMART goals. How do I measure against it? How do I know that I've achieved it? How do I respond, and how do I adapt if I don't achieve it so that I can still have a chance to make the bigger goal? So it's definitely the interim goals are more SMART oriented, but the major goal is definitely a stretch goal.
Yeah, it's always a stretch goal for me. The I always like to be like, what if I could do such and such? Right? SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable,
achievable,
or attainable. Mm-hmm. Relevant, and then time bound. Yeah. So they have like a expiration date. So you're like, if I don't reach my average speed that I need to hold by, let's say, the middle of March, then I'm going to have to adjust my stretch goal.
How many athletes do you see? And we've seen this over the years with people. How many athletes do you see? They're like, oh, I want to race that triathlon. I want to race the bike segment at 23 miles per hour.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a very, very measurable goal.
Yeah.
Either you did or you did not make 23 miles an hour, right? And it's like, well, okay, so how do you do that? Well, you can start by just going out and riding 23 miles an hour and see how well you hold on to that. And now is that something you can do over the rolling hills of this type of terrain, right?
Yep.
Like I'd love to do Unbound at a 17 mile an hour average.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yep.
It's not easy to do.
Exactly. It takes a lot. So so that's the other part too. Like, a lot of athletes that I coach, they come in with a lot of the stretch goals. They're like, I want to
but they
podium.
think it's a SMART goal.
Right. They think it's a SMART goal. I want to, in 2 years, I want to be able to podium in my, in my age group. And it's like, all right, well, where are we starting at? Right. Like that's a huge stretch goal to podium because you're talking about training and that goal just being the goal for the next, however long, where they're like, oh, I want to come and by, September of next year, I want to be able to go sub 12 at an Ironman. And it's like, righty, let's see where you're at right now. You have to be at a pretty high level to go, sub 12 already. So if you're just coming off the couch, it's going to be a little harder.
And that's another thing, like, you mentioned the 4 watts per kilo. It's like, how do I get there? Well, I mean, there's 2 factors in that formula. There's power and there's weight.
Yep.
And so we got to play with those factors and what's really achievable to bring. Like if I had to bring my power up with my current weight, if I had to bring my power to be a 4 watts per kilo, I probably just might as well get the anabolic steroids now. Yeah. Because like that's not really attainable. Now if I factor in weight loss with that, now it's more attainable.
Exactly.
So, and those are the kinds of things. I mean, I know that's pretty basic stuff, but it's like it's real easy to lose track of very simple fundamental goal setting when you're thinking about your athletic performance. Yep. And that's why it's good to have somebody to bounce off, whether it's a good friend, a coach, whatever it is. You got to have somebody to kind of bounce these things off of and like give you the gut test. Like, is that really attainable? Like, let's maybe take a step back and let's find, hey, you know what? Maybe it is. but let's try this one first.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like with goals, again, you know, if they're too scary, you're going to be deflated real quick, because you're going to, you know, go out on that first gravel ride of the season and maybe you only average like 12 miles an hour and you needed to be 17 and you're just like, well, I guess the goal's out the window. And it's like, it could be, but again, with, you know, training and hindsight and seeing what's going on, it may just be that you had a headwind all day, or maybe you had the wrong tire choice, or maybe you weren't, you know, practicing your aero and just riding up on the hoods the whole time. And, you know, that kind of stuff, the small changes may be something that you need to work on.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it's setting those goals, I think is a good place to start.
Yeah.
So you set the goal, right? And then now what do? Like, you start working backwards from your A race.
That's right.
Right. It wouldn't be an A race if it didn't have a stretch goal. 2, you didn't have other things supporting that, leading up to that goal. And then now you're picking the amount of weeks that you're going to dedicate to this race. Yeah. Right. And my thing is, usually if it's an Ironman or something big like Unbound or some kind of, I would say, ultra event, you're going to probably want to dedicate 16 to 20 weeks of time.
Solid training.
Yeah. And just dedicate it to that thing. Usually by the time my Ironman athletes get to Ironman, they are tired of training. And
like, I don't want to do this anymore.
So many of them are just like, I just want to be done with this race. I just want to be done. It's consumed my whole life. And that's these ultra events. That's what happens. They consume our whole lives.
Right.
And they have to. If the goal is scary enough and you're dedicated enough, it will consume a lot of your time.
To your point, it's really important. Like, it's an A race for a reason. Set your schedule up around that and really dedicate to it. And then you have a better shot, and maybe just blowing your goal out of the water, no matter how scary it is. Yeah. I know for Unbound this year, I kind of looked back at my plan before we started recording. I'm a totally different approach this year than previous years. I have 4 blocks of base this year, which I haven't done 4 blocks of base since maybe the first year. Yeah. You know, and that's because we've always done half marathon or marathon in the wintertime, and it's good cross training. But I've really decided this year I know there's some weaknesses in my cycling profile that I need to attack, and like the base phase is critical for attacking some of those. And so I put 4 blocks of base training in, and then I've got about 10 weeks or so of build right after that. And then a couple of weeks of specialty and taper. So it's like it's almost 20 weeks of solid work. Yeah. Right. And I don't know if it's going to make it or not. It's like one of the things I'm also doing is like testing every 4 weeks. Yeah. Right. And so like now I'm going to know, like, that's part of that SMART concept, right? I'm going to know, am I progressing? Do I need to make adjustments in my plan? If I'm not progressing, I start to see stall outs. Like, what does that mean? Do I need to change like the type of workouts I'm doing? And all those things start to come into play. Yeah.
And you're kind of like the same thing with me. I'm doing 16 weeks. I just got done with I'm doing my base season a little bit different. I'm doing like 4 weeks of build and then 8 week base and then another 4 weeks of build. Yeah. And then I'll start into the Unbound training. Yeah. And so that's like 16 weeks. So I'm building, and then I'll do the build
kind of
into
reinforcing
Unbound.
with some base. Yeah.
Yeah. Reinforcing with some base. And just kind of like, 'cause I did take quite a bit of time off. And then now I'm just kind of, going through and getting that stuff. And again, I also coach other athletes and I train other things. So it's not like I've been sitting.
Like cycling's the only thing you're doing. Right?
I'm not sitting on the couch. I'm swimming a lot, and I'm, running and doing all that other stuff. So despite the cycling specific stuff has been a build, base, and then it'll be the build into Unbound.
And I think that's also important. Like, again, just knowing where your fitness profile is right now, and kind of knowing your history. Again, that all factors. That's why it's so hard. Like, again, I just caution people on just buying cookie cutter plans and then going out and running with those. They're a great starting point, but every athlete's coming from a different place, a starting point. So, and to your point, like you swim a lot more. You're doing running with athletes. you can't go all in on a 15-hour a week cycling training plan and do those other things.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but if you're gonna hit a point somewhere where your fitness is just going to be so upside down, your body's not getting a chance to recover. The workouts aren't going to be the quality they need to be. And again, this all seems so obvious, but it's obvious when you look at it and it's somebody else.
Yeah.
It's hard when
you're
it's
looking
you.
at it from the back. When you're going through the trenches and you're just doing,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I got a 3-hour ride today. Like, ugh.
Right.
You know, you don't know. And then you're like, why am I not getting better? And why is this? That's the whole point of like, you know, just being able to, you know, have this plan kind of, you know, it's not very like my plan's not set in stone yet. Mm-hmm. Like it can change. Again, it's kind of like looking, you know, at your, you know, I do a lot of testing. Yeah. So if I'm not getting better, then I have to figure out what's going on. You know, and it's just that kind of, you know, rechecking in, re-looking at the goal, and then making sure that you're making steps towards it. So
that's right.
A lot of times, again, like I was saying with picking your weeks and stuff, if it's a big event like these ultra, you know, you're thinking, you know, 16 to 20 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
For my Ironman athletes, it's 20 weeks.
Yep.
For them. And then if you're thinking like a smaller thing, like a 70.3, or you're doing like, maybe you're doing, 100-mile gravel race, or you're doing, you know, less than 100 miles, you know, that's, you know, 6 to 8 weeks is really kind of good. You know, it's kind of the sweet spot. It's enough for you to just kind of, you know, if you're coming in there with a little bit of base, you can just kind of build towards that event, do the event, and then, you know, and then learn from it, and then repeat the cycle through. Yeah. Especially if you're doing these shorter events and stuff like that, you can have more A races in a season.
Sure.
You know, especially if
the
it's
recovery's a lot less.
You know, I do like to make my athletes spread out those A events. They don't get like 6 or 7 A events, you know, a year.
That's pretty tough to do.
They usually get about 2 to 3, depending on, you know, if it's a single sport and then they want to do some multi-sport stuff. Yeah. But other than that, it's usually about, for most athletes, it's going to be about 2 A events a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I still go back to, like, it can't be an A event if it's something you're doing every 2 weeks. Yep. Right. And it also can't be an A, like it can be, but is it really an A event, or is it just the only event?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Again, it's just about, and there's not a right or wrong way to this. Like if you just said, hey, you know what, I want to do 15 events this year.
Yeah.
And just set a goal for each one. And I just want to do the best I can in 15 different events. There's nothing wrong. And you will be, in fact, you'll probably beat us out there, and that's fine. It's not about that. It's about your own achievement. And if that's, but if you want to really dedicate to that one, that long ultra distance event, or that sort of the pinnacle of the year, then you got to think about things that support it. Otherwise you just you start to lose your focus. You start to stray. Yeah, and I've done it. I've done it.
I always see my athletes who don't have that solid A event. They look at like, oh, so and so is racing such and such this weekend, and I want to go do that. Can I go do it?
Sure, you can. Yeah.
It's like you can, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the event that you're doing. Right. So like a lot of times, like when I know this for, you know, for my experience, and I'm pretty sure with you, Danny, too, is that we'll be in full on A event training, and, you know, a race will come up that we really want to do. Like, we're like, oh, I forgot about that one. I kind of want to do it. And then you have to make the hard choice. Does this one support the race that I'm doing? Right. Or is this a chance that I could derail my training for the A event by doing this event, and you may have to pass.
It's happened.
Yeah. And a lot of people kind of get like, oh, why didn't you do such and such? You would have been great at it. And it's like, I had to pass on it because it did not align.
I didn't trust myself.
Yeah. One, I didn't trust myself. 2, it didn't align with the overarching season goals of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's a balance. You don't want to take yourself too seriously that you can't enjoy it. But it probably goes into the next topic, which was around the consistency side. Because if you are consistent with your training regimen and you maintain sort of that core fitness, and you keep yourself sort of at the ready, I mean, you can always jump into an event. Now, to your point, you got to be careful, because if you jump into an event that wasn't really planned, you have the potential of overextending yourself, and then it wrecks your training plan for a couple of weeks, which could cause a bad cycle. But if you are consistent with your training in general, I mean, it's nothing wrong with adding something on.
Yeah,
And,
no, you can add stuff on all the time.
And we've had this happen. I'll throw a good example out there that's not bike specific. If I'm focused on Unbound training, but if something came up in the spring, like, hey, let's go do this 5K, like, it would be really hard not to want to go do the 5K. And then guess what? I'd go out and rail it.
Yep.
And then my legs would be sore for about 3 days. And then I wouldn't be able to finish I wouldn't be able to have a quality cycling workout. So I basically took a week off of my bike training.
Right. And depending on where that falls, if it's a build week or a base week, like if it's a base week, it's probably not too much of a detriment. But if you were in the middle of building
or specialty,
or some kind of specialty, like that could really derail the whole training.
And that goes back to the consistency thing, because now you've disrupted your consistency of your training. Yep. And that's what I mean. Like, these things kind of play together too. And I think the consistency side is the most important. If I had to pick one thing on here, this is the most important thing out there. Just, if you just show up, and even if it says to do a VO2 max workout and you get into it and you do the first interval and you're like, oh God, I can't finish it. You know what? Finish out the hour in zone 2 if that's what you can do. Finish it.
Yep. I tell my athletes all the time, like, you may not have it on the day. Yeah. Again, like, I think I've heard this from many of, podcasts that I listen to. 98% of your workouts are just going to be meh. And then you're going to have 1% are going to be like, that was garbage, I should give up the sport. And then you're going to have 1% that are going to be like, oh my gosh, I should go pro. I'm so good. I'm crushing it.
Yeah, that garbage one sounds like some of my races last year.
So it's, again, if most of your, again, that comes from consistency. I have athletes that race like 17 races a year. They're just runners. They just love to run. They go out and race running. And for each event, for 17 events, I have given my athlete a specific target to hit, or a time at a specific pace, or something like that. And they've come back and had one of the best seasons they've actually had, because it's all about me knowing them and the fact that they love to race. They just love to get out there and do it. Yep. But again, I'm giving them little guardrails, and that's what, like, part of having like a coach and not just like a plan, or asking ChatGPT whether or not you should do it. Right. Because most of the time it'll be like, yeah, go for it. A coach is going to sit there and say, like, all right, you can do that race, but here's what I want you to do. This is what you're going to focus on. This is your event. It's not part of your AA race, so this is what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, I think, those are all important points. And again, why I think having another set of eyes and ears and what you're doing is helpful. And again, it all depends on what your overall goals are. I mean, if you're just doing this for just general fitness, nothing wrong with it. And just as long as you don't get into an overtraining cycle. But if you really want to dial in your results and target specific goals, it really helps to have the other set of eyes and ears on it, and somebody that can help make the adjustments for you, or to keep you in check. Because it's real easy. Like, we saw this happen with shortly after Ironman. The fitness is through the roof. I mean, especially after you finish it and you get that first couple of weeks of recovery, and you start
your
to kind of
just comes back,
and you're
training.
Like, I'm ready to go freaking just roll, man. How many times we went out and rode a couple of our routes, and how easy did power come on the bike? Like oh my God, we're only out here for an hour. Let's just go. And then, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So it's real easy to say, hey, I've built up all this fitness. Like, I want to go do something with it. And you should. You should absolutely do that. Just be smart and make sure you're keeping everything in check and you're not wrecking some other future goal. So, but yeah, that's good stuff. I think again, consistency, hands down, the number one most important thing.
It all, I would say, from a good foundation of consistency, to having a good goal to reach for, consistent. Like, my goal this year for the year is consistency. It's goal number one.
Right. Especially after we talked in another episode about how, it's amazing how your cycling was solid as it was last season. Yeah. Given how inconsistent your cycling workouts were. Yeah. And we talked a little bit at length, so go back and find that episode. It's a great conversation, because there are ways that you can sort of adapt around it, but you you can't substitute. You can't fill in like the hole that's left behind when you just don't show up for the work.
Yep.
And so I know that's easy. It's obvious, but at the same time, like, again, it's one of those things people kind of fall into that trap.
Yeah. And the consistency, if I was more consistent with the bike, I would have been illuminated to the fact that I was not properly heat trained a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have wrecked my A race.
It's fair.
So again, if you're not consistent with what you're doing, and it's not specific during the time that it needs to be specific, you run the risk of just totally failing on that A race.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
Good.
So,
all right.
Ready for some rapid fire?
Yeah,
now?
let's see some rapid fire.
This is some good ones here.
Good.
So this is all about. So ChatGPT has said these are your one word responses.
Okay, one word. Got it.
To roast yourself before the season does.
Oh yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Your 2026 fitness plan is currently optimized or optimistic?
I would say optimistic.
Yeah. I think mine's pretty close to optimized, actually.
I think you have definitely spent more time on your training plan and have looked deep into it. I'm just kind of going through the years and years that I've been doing this, that I'm like, okay, I need to hit this. I need to hit that. I need to do this better.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like, it's not very structured, my plan. It's just like, okay, I got to do some more of this. I got to do some more of that. And I'm just kind of like going through with what I know I need to kind of hit on. And then as I get closer to the season, it'll be more structured.
You know what I need to learn more about? I need to learn more about off the bike nutrition.
Just eat the food.
See, I need. So if anybody knows somebody out there that's really good with off the bike nutrition, on the bike I'm good. Like I know I learned my hard lessons.
Yeah,
we've chronicled that. But off the bike nutrition, like, yeah, I got to get better at that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Danny's been eating ice cream. I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made some chocolate chip cookies the other day that were phenomenal. Yeah. So, your winter motivational level, unbreakable or unraveling?
I would say unbreakable now. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, it was unraveling.
It was unraveling hard.
It was a mess.
2-3 weeks ago, it was a hot mess. It was all over the floor. It was just a pile of tears.
Man.
It was horrible.
Oh,
it was the worst.
I mean, I thought I was bad, and then I talked to you, and
you talked to me, and you're like, "This guy, I don't know if he's gonna make it.
I might need to find a new training partner."
Yeah, I was getting ready to retire.
All right, I thought I saw your bike up on Facebook Marketplace. So, all right. So speaking of the previous topic, your current fueling strategy: dialed or diabetes?
Oh, dialed. Yeah.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
This is the worst time for me because it's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's pumpkin pie. Okay, so we just came out of ice cream season with summer.
Yeah.
We were just into pumpkin pie season with Thanksgiving. We're about to go into snickerdoodles and shortbread cookies season. Yep. And then we're going to come out of that into the New Year's, and it's going to be back into like early chocolate chip cookie season.
Yeah.
Because then you got to get to the chocolate chip cookies, then you can get to ice cream.
Yep.
With maybe a couple brownies in the middle in there somewhere. So I'm like, I got to work on that. All right. Yeah. Your early season legs will be a weapon or a wet noodle?
I'm hoping there'll be a weapon this year. I've made some changes. I'm thinking that there'll be a weapon this year. I won't be showing up to Dirty Disco this year, just kind of hanging out, being pack fodder.
So I explicitly remember, I think it was Paulina we were riding with, and I explicitly remember telling her, like, I have no business out here. I have not been like I have had no long rides, like zero, and then so I was definitely the wet noodle, and with the early season legs. That is not going to be the case this year. No. I'm telling you, especially with I've looked at how my training plan lines up. It just happens to be like I'm going to have some really good sessions in there about 4 weeks before. So I'm going to come in there with relatively fresh legs. I'm going to have some fun at that race. As long as it's not cold.
It's going to be a lot funner.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let's find the next one here. Your race day mindset, killer or kindergarten?
I would say it's going to be tempered.
Okay.
That is going to be my race, unless it's the A race
Way to pick an option that wasn't on there.
Yeah,
that's
B
good.
or a B race. It's going to be tempered. It's not going to be hashtag bait Travis. It still might happen. Again,
I am going to find a way.
I am trying to.
You know how many times
I am visualizing on the trainer of not being baited. But again, once that number comes on, I can't. I don't know if I can.
I'm just going to tell you right now because I know you'll forget by the time we get there.
Oh, I won't. Yeah.
I am going to make sure that I feel confident in my 5-minute efforts, repeat efforts, and I'm going to just surge on you and surge on you and surge on you and just force you to figure out if you're going to hang on or not.
No.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. No.
All the things I wanted to do this year and I just didn't. The training plan never happened. It never happened. Never came together. All right. You're off.
The best part is when I pass you after you've surged and you've broken yourself. I'm gonna sip on the water and just be like, "I'll see you later, buddy." I'm gonna go ahead and go up the road. Nice job today.
Yeah, nice work. Thanks for the pull.
Yeah, thanks for the pull. I'll see you later. I'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah, right. Your off-season nutrition plan: lean or lasagna? I mean, lasagna is pretty good.
Yeah, I do like me some lasagna. I'm not one of those that I haven't dialed back the diet so much, but I do. Again, I don't eat out because of the wife's food allergy, so I end up cooking a lot of the stuff at home, and I've kind of made more of the healthier options happen more. And so I find my kids like ordering DoorDash more because that's how I know I'm doing good is when the kids are like, "Oh,
we're tired of chicken and rice."
Yeah, I don't want to eat this. It's got vegetables in it. That sucks. I'm gonna order DoorDash.
That's funny. Your current FTP direction: upward or underwhelming?
Upward.
Yeah, mine's upward. I'm actually starting. So I had to. Part of my plan was to do I did like 3 weeks of prep work, like sort of transition training, and then I did my week of fitness tests, and my FTP was just a few points off of mid-season peak.
Yeah,
which shocked me. And then I started reading more about that. It's like it actually, sometimes when you take blocks of time off, like that fitness sort of consolidates. And if you just spend a little bit of time and just wake it back up a little bit, like things kind of come back a little, it's not totally lost.
No. And
so it wasn't. And so I'm actually starting this year. Again, I don't, there's a lot of, so if you watch other podcasts, there's a lot of talk right now about, FTP and VO2 max isn't really the end all be all. It's all about durability. It is about durability. It really is. Yeah. Welcome. Like that's not new. Like there's a lot of clickbait out there. But the point is that if you just go purely off FTP, I'm starting higher now than I've ever started in the fall. Yeah. Which is an encouraging sign. Now, does that mean anything? No, it means nothing because I haven't done it yet. I haven't back to my point about the 5-minute repeat efforts, I got to sustain that. So it's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, definitely on the upward.
Mine is coming from, again, I haven't been testing as much as you have. I'm going to get into that cycle here in the new year. But for me, I've been doing this for so long that my overall feeling of like, oh, how wrecked should I be after this effort, is less. Yeah. And so I know my fitness is coming up. And that's because, again, I've been doing other stuff. I've been hitting the gym. I've been lifting weights and all that other, that kind of stuff is supplemented. And I've been training on the bike for so long that, I can pretty much just guess my FTP just by feel, but
or you at least know directionally.
I know, I know where it's at. So everything, again, I'm seeing a lot of positive changes on the bike. And so I'm just kind of rolling with it right now. I haven't dedicated the time to testing, all that stuff. Right. And again, I'll probably do a little bit more. One of the other goals this coming in is to test with more lactate on some of these longer rides to make sure that I'm hitting the right area.
That's a good point. So we've
little side tangent, guys, if you want to.
Yeah, we have talked a little bit about that. We haven't talked much on here about it, but just the fact that you have have invested in some of the lactate testing equipment.
Yep.
So if anybody's interested in lactate testing, Travis has that, and that's a relatively inexpensive way to make sure your zones are well dialed in.
Yep. So instead of doing like a 20-minute test and getting your threshold, and then basing your zones off of a percentage, we get 2 points that are definitive, and then you can base your zones kind of off of all of that.
Exactly.
So it's so much more.
It's definitely more accurate.
It's good. Again, with FTP and all that other stuff, it's change.
Another tool.
Yeah, it's another tool. It changes day to day. Again, all that other caveats to it, but it is nice to know exactly where your zone 2 is.
Yeah, and it was really helpful. I know last year did a lactate test, and it was very, very helpful. So definitely something to keep in mind for this year. Let's see a couple more. So your realistic chance of sticking to your plan, solid or sabotage?
Solid.
Yeah.
I think the goal is scary enough that I have to stick to my plan. If I don't, it'll all come flying apart. There's no way.
The only thing that scares me right now when I look at my plan, I'm scrolling through it right now. The only thing that really scares me is there's a couple of these indoor rides that are, well, I shouldn't say indoor. They are rides that are planned on my schedule, but because of when they are, they're likely to be indoor rides, like 3.5, 4 hour rides inside. And it's just like, gosh, dang.
Yeah,
I mean, so here's the thing. That's the other thing. It's another episode we'll have to do maybe this winter, is like the value of trainer watts versus outdoor watts.
Yep.
And there's a big difference there. And there's no hard and fast rule. There's a lot of things out there that say, oh, it's double the time value and all.
Yeah, I always do double the time.
But the thing is it's a big difference when you ride a 3.5 hour ride outside versus a 3.5 hour ride inside.
Yes.
Major difference in what you're getting.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of looking at that as like, hey, that's gonna suck, but it's also far more adaptation that I'm gonna get by staying inside than if I went outside road. So
yeah, and that's the quality of the training, right? Like what you want to get out of it. If it's like, oh, I want to be able to ride 6 hours, then riding 3 hours indoor definitely prepare you to ride 6 hours.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I want to ride 6 hours and then go outside and ride 6 hours, like you could have, again, you're getting the outside adaptations, which is different. Sure. But again, like, is that a good use of your time?
Well, and the other thing is to go, if you really want to know like where the difference is at, just go look at your last outdoor ride of 6 hours and tell me how much active recovery time you have in that.
Yep.
I bet you most people have more than 30% of that ride was active recovery, either not pedaling at all or coasting or soft pedaling on a hill or something like that, which not saying it's the wrong way to train. I'm just saying you didn't get the same time in zone that you would have gotten if you just been inside.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, another episode we could do. Maybe we'll do some testing on that. We'll have some fun with that one. Last one. We got a lot. I mean, ChatGPT lined us up this week. So
might have heard me talking smack about
I know,
it.
Right? We did threaten to go to Gemini.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody caught
or
that. But
Perplexity, like everybody, all the other podcasters are.
That's right. I like to stick with one. All right. Yep. This is it. Your 2026 season theme: dominate or delusional?
I would say probably dominate. Yeah.
Can't both dominate. One of us is going to lose.
But what if you just like let me win sometimes?
But then if you win, how would I win? Yeah. I feel like 25 was a year of
huge growth.
Huge growth, but I learned so much. Like it was not the performance that I wanted. Like I know. Set Unbound aside, because I achieved the goal. All the other events, I don't feel like I was ever at my best, and even Unbound, I don't feel like I was truly at my best. It just the day worked out.
Yeah, and again, you got to have a lot of luck on these things too. Yeah. Like everything kind of lines up perfectly, especially on a race like Unbound.
Right, I crashed at Unbound.
Yeah, and if something's off, like it could derail the whole race. Yeah. So,
I think 25 taught me a lot. I thought, it's one of those things like every year you think you learn a lot, and then the next year happens. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I learned a lot last year. And so there's a lot of things that I have made changes in my off season and general approach and mindset that I'm like 26. I'm going to I'm hoping it's a dominate type.
It's gonna be a
hope so.
It's gonna be a great season.
Hope so.
I'm looking forward to it because Danny's he's definitely taking it up to the next level. It's gonna be a little bit harder for me to get one over on him for sure, which is good.
It's good, yeah. I mean, all I want is more. Like we say this a lot, but it's very rare that you and I both have an A day on the same day.
Yes.
Very, very rare. We've only had it happen a couple of times. Now we've had times where it's like in the day we have maybe an hour or two of overlapping where we feel pretty good, but like to have a full bookend day where we both feel great has been extremely rare.
Yeah.
It's weird because like one of us will have a great, like we'll be phenomenal, and then the other one's like, I'm just gonna die my slow death here. Yeah. Just leave me I'm on the mountaintop. Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, so that was good. Good stuff. Anything else for today?
Well, just again, remember, comment, like, favorite,
get your discount
subscribe.
Code for crying out loud.
Yeah, save some money, people.
I mean, that's some money that you can put towards tires, sealant.
That stuff's expensive,
right?
So get that in. Again, we enjoy every single comment. I enjoy every single follower. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please, if you like what we are doing here, leave a like, rate us, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. It really helps us grow and finds us more SufferSooner squad mates. And remember, when the finish line feels impossibly far away, we don't give up, we push harder, we dig deeper, and we find solace in the knowledge that our suffering is temporary and our resilience is forever.